recording. So everyone is seeing the screen, everyone seeing the audio, right? Listen to the audio. So we're good with it. Okay, guys, welcome to this seminar. It's going to be, today what we're going to do is something that we want to incorporate to you guys is like from time to time, like once a week, explain to you guys one of the Elliott Wave structures. In that way, you guys can identify and understand more the counts that we present on the daily basis in the service. So today what we're going to start with is with the Modus Wave. Modus Wave is the Modus Wave usually is a very powerful way that runs in the direction of the trend of one higher degree. In other words, if the trend is to the downside, let's put it this way. If the trend is to the outside, the Modus Wave or the impulse always is going to happen to the outside most of the times. But only in the subdivision of the ABC, you can see that the Modus Wave happens against the trend, but at the end of the day, it's going to revise to the trend. So the trend and the Modus Wave, most of the times, they are friends. That's how I understand it. Now, Modus Wave, they have three particular rules. First, that wave 2 never retrace more than wave 1. That wave 4 never overlap with wave 1, and the wave 3 never can be the shortest one. That's very easy to understand. You don't need to read a whole book to understand all these three rules. That's how you identify the Modus Wave. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to take a chart of the S&P. This is the S&P on the daily chart. The S&P on the daily chart is showing a very nice and well-structured Modus Wave. Now, a Modus Wave, like we're trying to subdivide, is a 5-way swing. You can see here on the degrees that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. It's a 5-way swing, and now we're going to see how each of these three rules applies to make this a Modus Wave. And I'm gonna let you guys know about some specific rules that I do follow. The first rule is that wave 2 do not retrace more than the beginning of wave 1. Now, and this is something that I want you guys to understand. I'm going to put it like this, and you guys going to see. The S&P, let me contract a bit right here, is coming in the weekly and the daily chart for a huge outswing. Now, how do you know that the swing ended? When you see 5 ways against the previous swing on the chart. Okay? Now, that's what happening here. If you take a look, the outswing that I show you is coming in, and then you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 swings right there against the previous swing right here, you get to the conclusion that a significant top is in place. Why? Because you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, that's the first thing or the first movement that it can tell you that a new cycle is starting. Why do I say that? Because if you notice right here, let's say there was a move against the trend, a move against the trend, a move against the trend, but that move was not powerful enough to create a 5-way swing. All it did was 1, 2, 3. That's not a significant top. A significant top is when you see 5 swings against the trend. So Now, let's say that you come right here and you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you get to this point. And then as a trader, you say, okay, I'm creating a new degree. I'm creating a significant top. That's what you see right there on the motor. That's the first step of creating a higher degree or a new degree. Now, it comes, and then you're going to see that from here to here, you have 5 ways, right? You have 5 ways in this range. You got 5 ways. But a modus wave this is a modus wave, and this is a modus wave, and this is another modus wave, and this is another modus wave. What I mean with that is this, that in a move that happens to have 5 swings, right here, there are 5 swings. And right here, you have 5 swings. And right here, so on until you get to the sum minus or the lesser degree cycle. You're going to have sequences of 5 swings. What's going to happen is that the same that we're trying to explain here on the daily happen in any degree. You have the first move happen right here in 1 minute that you see 5 swings. That's the first point that you get. Oh, it's a possible turn in place. Now, the same that happen here when you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exactly. And then right there, you're going to see the first 5, and the move is getting bigger and bigger. And then that's why create the degrees within the Elliott wave principle. But at the end of the day, an impulsor wave or modal wave is the same. If you look at it in the 1 minute, in the 5 minute, on the 15 minutes, an hour, 4 hour, the only difference is the magnitude of the 5 ways. Having said that, what I'm trying to explain is that what is labeled 1 right here can be subdivided also in different 5 ways. Like here, you can see this, right? And then if you go in small degrees, right here and right here and right here, you're going to get another 5 ways. And that's what it makes a 5 ways. When you can see that right here, wave 2 do not pass the beginning of 1. Wave 3 do not pass, is not the shortest. And wave 4 do not overlap wave 1. That's how you get another 5 ways. So what happened next? It's a sequence when the degree is getting bigger and bigger. But at the end of the day, the message is very simple, that within these 5 ways, you're going to find another 5 ways. And within these 5 ways, you're going to have another 5 ways. You can see it here. From here to here, you have 5 ways, right? And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another 5. The same here. And here, another 5. When every 5 ways needs to respect and follow the idea that wave 2 never retrace more than wave 1. Wave 1, wave 4 never overlap wave 1, and wave 3 is never the shortest of the 3 waves. Now, after you get to this point, you jump a degree. Why? Because it's telling you that you have 5 waves in a higher degree, and then you're gonna trade your pivot area. When you're going to see that now you are correcting these degrees. And now you know automatically that the market is going to have a biggest correction to the one that is so already here. And then the market is going to retreat, in this case, to either this, the 50, the 618, of the 76.4, or these 5 swings. Now, the market did the same right here when you see that if you take the first 5, the market retreat to the 618. Exactly it's going to do right here. It's going to correct the whole swing. Now, after you seeing these 5 swings, what you say, okay, in an ABC, I'm going to have 5, 3, 5. After you seeing this 5, you say, okay, at least I'm going to get into this area. The same that you did when you get here, you say, I'm going to get into this area. And so and on and on. You're going to create a sequences of 5 ways. Remember, to get to 5 ways, you need to pass by 3 ways. That's how it works. To get to 5 ways, you need to pass by 3 ways. Now, what the S&P did, it did 5. At this stage, you laboring as a 1A. And then it did 2. And then you labor as a B. And then comes another sequences of 5 ways, when you're going to see that each rules is there when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you see that the wave 2 never parts the beginning of wave 1. Wave 3 is not the shortest one. Usually, wave 3 is the most powerful and longer or extended of the 3 swing. In a modest wave, you have 1, 2, 3 swing that runs in favor of the trend. Because yes, the trend in the S&P in this cycle can be to the outside, but this move is being labeled as an ABC when you're going to have 5 ways. So technically, a new trend started here on the S&P. And then you see 1, 2. You see how wave 2 do not pass the beginning of wave 1. When you see that wave 3 is not the shortest. And when you see that wave 4 do not overlap wave 1. That's enough to call this another cycle of 5 ways. And then it comes another test of the 5-way cycle, or another test if a higher degree cycle is taking place. You have a retracement, and then another cycle of 5 ways is take place here to conclude a Elliott Wave 5-way cycles that now the rules need to apply against. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 1. This is 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 3. A, B, C, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the A, to create 5 ways from here to here, when you can see that each cycle it have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. That's a modus wave. Modus waves are based in 5 ways. 3 ways, they are in pause or in favor of the trend. 2 ways, they are correction against the trade, against the trend. And in general, each cycle from the minute to the highest cycle needs to have the same rules. Wave 2 do never retrace more than wave 1. Wave 4 never overlap wave 1. Wave 3 is never the shortest. Now, having said that, before we get into the figures, I would like to see if you guys have any question. If you guys have any question, you can ask it now, and I'm gonna be answering to you guys. Any question about modus wave? Any question that you guys want about modus wave, I will be waiting to answer to you guys now. And then I'm gonna get into the area when I'm gonna be answering and showing to you guys the RSI to identify momentum and the FIBO areas and the FIBO within the modus wave. So any question, guys, about modus wave? Don't be afraid. There is a lot of people there. I mean, I hope that you guys have a question. This is a very simple concept when it comes to modus wave. Yes, if there can be overlap within wave one. Yes, in the wave one, by concept, wave one is a fight between. By concept, wave one is a fight between the old trend and the new trend, of the old cycle and the new cycle, because the idea that you see 5 ways arrow, 5 ways against the previous move do not mean that you have a change trend. Corrections that are subdivided between 5 can be 5, 3, 5. So far, the only thing that 5 says is that you're gonna see a top or a minor top, a secondary top. I mean, a top in some degrees. But because of that, wave one in Elliott Wave can take the way of a leading diagonal, when wave 4 can create overlap with wave 1 and still become modus wave. And then you're going to get the 3 back, and then you're going to get a regular 5-way swing. Overlap can only happen in the first leg of the cycle. In other words, can happen here, can happen here, or can happen here. In the first leg of the cycle is only when you can see overlap within Elliott wave into the modus wave. Yeah, an ending diagonal also allow overlap, but when you see an ending diagonal at that stage, you already know that it's an impulse. Most of the questions when it comes to most of the confusion comes in the first leg. Why? Because it's when the new cycle is being created. At the time that you see an ending diagonal, at that stage, you already know that it is an impulse. Now, question. Can wave one? Yeah, can wave one and wave 5, they can be the standard one. Not necessarily wave 3 needs to be the standard. The idea is this, that wave 3 cannot be the shortest. You can have, this is an impulse. That's an impulse. It's a 5-way swing. When the wave 5 is the standard, there is no overlapping, but wave 3 is not the shortest. And wave 2 do not retrace more than 100% of wave 1. That's an impulse. You can have it here also, and there is an impulse. That's an impulse also. While wave 1 wasn't extended, well, other rules, they are there. That do not matter. What happens is that most of the time, wave 3 is the most powerful and the standard one. That's the most common event, but do not necessarily mean that it always needs to be that wave 3 is the standard one. Okay, now let's move on to the Fibos. This is very easy, and Fibo-wise, it runs like this. I'm going to put it as a bear market so you guys understand better, because that's the picture that you guys are seeing. On the bear market, let's put it like this. Remember, each subdivision has a phi. So I'm going to talk in general, and then you guys can understand that. Right here is going to apply the same that in general. Wave 2. Wave 2 retraces to the following levels. All you need to do after seeing 5 waves, you need to trace the Fibo of the complete cycle. And then you guys are going to see that wave 2 retrace either to the 50% retracement of wave 1, to the 618 retracement of wave 1, or the 76.4 retracement of wave 1. Those are the Fibos when wave 2 retrace compares to wave 1. All you need to do is identify the first leg or the first 5 waves, and then you guys will know at that stage where you're gonna be your entry point. How it works is like this. After you see your first 5, you're gonna trace the Fibos here, and then you're gonna sell at the 50%, at the 618, and at the 76.4. Again, what is your risk? Your risk is the top of the first leg. Why? Because if this high is taken, what's happening is that there were no 5 waves, or this was a flat. So technically, when you sell into the third wave, your risk or your stop needs to be the high of the wave 1. And that's as simple, guys. And I'm going to try to be as simple as I can. In that way, you guys do not get confused with this. Now, how you enter into a possible wave 3, very simple. You put your stop at the top of the wave 1, and then you sell at the 50, at the 618, and at the 76.4 of the length of the wave 1. That's how you enter into a wave 3. Now, let's see the distance of wave 3. Very simple also. There is 2 types of Fibo levels. There is retracement and extension. When you're going to know when wave 3 is going to end, you use the extension, and then you measure the distance of wave 1 and you put it in the top of wave 2. And then when that happens, wave 3 is going to be most of the time these 2 levels. Wave 3 is going to be, you measure, you put the length of wave 1, you put it in the top of wave 2. And then what I recommended is wave 3 is going to be either the 1.618, the distance travel. If this travel, let's say 100 points, wave 3 is going to travel 161 points. That's how it works. Or wave 3 is going to end around 2.618, the distance of 1. In other words, if wave 1 travel 100 points, wave 3 is going to travel 261 points from the beginning from the end of wave 2. That's how it works. It's a Fibo extension of wave 1 is the one that is going to make the distance of wave 3. In this case, I did it I mean, right there, and it came out to be that is at the 618. How it works is wave 1, wave 2, you mention the distance of wave 1, you put it on the top of 2, and then at the 1618, meaning that wave 3 is 1.618, the distance of wave 1, or wave 3 is 618 bigger than wave 1, wave 3 enter. That's how you label or you measure the distance of wave 3. Now, let's move on to the real market. On the real market, how you did it? You measure. Let me do it again so you guys see. You see that I say Fibonacci extension. You mark the top, the end of the top, the beginning and the end of wave 1, and you put it at the top of wave 2. When that happens, wave 3 is going to end in one of the following extensions. Wave 3 is going to end. Let me put it here. The most common ends of wave 3s are either, let me put this here so you guys can see it. Either wave 3 is going to end at the 1.618, it didn't happen there, at the 2%, or at the 2.618. In other words, wave 3 is going to be 1.618 bigger than 1. Wave 3 is going to be twice as bigger as 1, or wave 3 is going to be 2.618 bigger than 1. There is another figure extension like 3.236%, 4.236, or 6.618. But well, most of the time it ended around this area right here of wave 1. And then you're going to see how the subdivision also happen to have the same rules. You go to wave 1 and top of wave 2, and then end there at the 2%. Now, this is common sense. If you have not been able to identify 5 swing from the wave 3 of 3, and then you trace this Fibo, you automatically know that wave 3 won't end at 1.618. And then you let you trade that you enter here running onto the next cycle. In this case, you see wave 1, wave 2, and they have the 2 wave at the 2%. And then comes the 4 and the 5 until you have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now, it comes the wave 4 in place. Wave 4, this way, most of the time ended using the retracement, ended. Is amazing. I do it on hands, and the figures comes to the point. That's amazing. Now, ended at 3 levels. The 4.618 of the distance of wave 3, the 23.6, the distance of wave 3, or the 3802, the distance of wave 3. Those are most of the time the point when wave 4 ended. How you do it? You come to your platform, you use the retracement, and you mention the distance of 3. Not the whole move, the distance of 3. When that being the case, you identify your possible terms. And when that happens, what's going to see is that you identify the 14.6, the 23.6, and the 3802. And then right there, you sell against any stop that because wave 4 cannot overlap wave 1, you're going to place your stop right here, right? And that being the case, you sell with this stop. And then, because if the market keep going higher and overlap with wave 1, what's happening? This is a three-way move, like an ABC 535, and then if that's the case, the market is going to break this higher 97% of the time. That's how you mention wave 4. Any questions so far? Now, after you have wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and the market keep going lower, you need to have a point to end wave 5. Very simple. Wave 5 is going to end in 4 different possible levels, FIBO levels. First, you're going to do what we call an inverse FIBO of the distance of wave 4. That being the case, wave 4 is going to end at either 1.236, the distance that traveled wave 4, 1.618, the distance that is traveled by wave 4. Those are two. Then you're going to measure the distance of wave 1, and you're going to put it at the top of wave 4. And then also, sometimes wave 5 ended when 5 is equal wave 1. That can be the case. Or the last one, wave 5, you mentioned the distance of 1 to 3, and you put it at the top of wave 4, and then wave 5 is going to be the 618, the distance traveled by wave 1 to 3. And then that's going to be the end of the wave 5. So that's how you identify the FIBOs within a 5-way swing. When you see that every FIBO that happening, guys, either for 1 minute to the monthly chart, the same FIBO relationship, the same everything happens to be right there. Now, I have any question about FIBOs right there? Anyone is having a question about Fibonacci levels, how to use it in the impulse 5-way swing? No. In a 5-way swing, like I said at the beginning, most of the time you have an extended 5-way swing. Now, if you know already that the wave 3, when extended, let's say to the 2.618 or 3.618, guess what? Your wave 5, most of the time, the wave 3 ended at the 1.618 of the distance traveled by wave 1. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Right there. Most of the time, you only get one extended. You only get one extended wave within the 3 waves. Yeah, that FIBO relationship happens to be for every single subdivision. They always take the same correlation when it comes to FIBO. Always the same one. Always the same correlation when it comes to FIBO within the 5-way swing. Yes, if wave 3 is extended, me personally, when I put my stop goes not into the overlap, my stop goes to the 50% retracement when I'm entering the wave 5 of the cycle. Now, let's move on now to momentum. because momentum is very important when it comes to Elliott Wave. Momentum most of the time is the higher momentum of the cycle most of the time happen within the wave 3. Now, we recommended to you guys to use the RSI, the Relative Strength Index. The Relative Strength Index, as you guys see, this is the Relative Strength Index right here on the S&P. You guys see that into the 5-way swing that started here and ended right here, most of the time, the wave 3 of 3 is the biggest momentum. In other words, it's very hard to me to define a 5-way swing when you don't see divergency. This is called divergency. And divergency is telling you that by nature was like this. Wave 1, wave 2, by nature a 5-way swing is defined like this. Wave 1 is a fight between the new cycle and the old cycle. Wave 3 is the biggest momentum within the cycle, when is the most powerful, when you're going to see that the trend is well defined. Wave 4 and then wave 5, is like the move is taking place without momentum. In other words, the move is happening, but it's less powerful than wave 3. When you see that, the RSI is going to tell you, yes, we have a new low, but we have a divergency. That's telling you that the cycle is coming to the end. For me, a 5-way move needs to have divergency. You can see that all over around the market, like you see it here in lesser degree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're gonna see that fifth way comes with divergency compared to the high. That's why you see the reverse. That's how we identify a pattern. Wave 5. That's the only indicator we use. Why? Because we see the divergence between the low of the 5th way compares to the low of the 3rd way. Any question, guys, about the whole modus wave structure, how it works, how the FIBO works, and all the stuff? We've been trying to be as simple as we can, not get it too complicated, because what it matters is that you guys know where to enter, how to divide, how you identify using Elliott Wave and RSI each individual cycle within the 5-way move. Any question, guys? Yes, the RSI always going to give you divergence. I suggest you guys to watch the educational video about RSI to a more deeper understanding of the RSI, yes. But that divergence is the one that is going to give you the 100% insurance that you have within a 5-way swing. For example, going back to the euro now, and we're going to go a little bit about the individual pairs right now. The euro case. I got several questions, as all you guys know about it. And this is the only reason that we are presenting 2 counts today. Why? This is the euro. You put the RSI right here. What is telling you? No divergence. Very hard to me to label this a 5-way swing, in my opinion. Very hard to label a 5-way swing. This is why I like this count right here in some degrees. Because you see this one, you see this is a 5-way swing. Look the divergence here. That's a 5-way swing right there. That's in the euro case. Now the euro, moving back to the euro, you can see it, guys, in 2 ways. You can see it like this. Now you can ask questions about the euro, about any pair if you guys want. It's going to be like this, guys. I mean, it's going to be a very simple, just like a little bit deeper than the educational video, so you guys understand how it works. Now, the euro. What you have, a questionable 5 or ABC, or you have ABCW, ABCY. And then this is W and this is S. What you got? Now, in other words, you are possible around this area. And what you need? More downside in the euro. Now, what is very interesting about the euro is this. What is very interesting about the euro, yeah, now I'm going to go to the question, guys. I'm sorry, some of you do not need this. I know that some of you prefer the regular forum, but we don't going to get into too much repetition. That's why we're doing this. Now, the euro. 1 second. The euro here. What you got? What is clear now on the euro is this. That on the euro, you have, and to be honest with you guys, I don't care in the euro, I don't care about nothing that happened for 144 anymore. The way I trade is like this. The way I trade is that the only thing that I care now in the euro is that the only thing that I care is that from here to here there was a 3-way move, which is telling me that this is not the low in the euro. That's all you need to care about. Now, that it's going to break it from here, that can be possible. That it's going to break it from higher, and then this is A, B, C, W, S, Y. That's another question. But all you need to care is that this low is going to be broken. That's all you need to care about in short degrees. Now, another alternative on the euro is this one, which is the one that I mentioned already, that it goes like A, B, C, W, A, B, C, S. In that case, the euro is going to trade 139, and then it's going to trade lower. But at the end of the day, this is a 3-way move from the lows, meaning that most likely this low is going to be broken, right? That's for the euro. Now, let's take a look at the CAD. The question is, the CAD from yesterday open. I see 3 ways down in the CAD. SAC. I see 3 ways down in the CAD, and then you want to see it from here, right? Exactly. It looks like a 5. Well, not necessary. You like a short. Yeah, I like a short to around. I like a short against 109.94. Looking for an area around 101.35, 101.21 area. And then higher. That's what I like. And that goes pretty well with the euro ending wave A of Z right now. That's what I like, my friend. Like this. Look at the count. WSY. So technically, right now, we are, so you guys understand, right now we should be either here. Yeah, we are right here with another leg higher to come. It's getting interesting, but very, in my humble opinion, very hard to trade this market. When you see this swing higher and lower, when you see him trading, that one strong move is erased with another, that's terrible, my friends. Look, many things can happen. I like it like this. When down for 101, most likely the dollar CAD is going to go, let's say that he goes to around 104.56 area, in my opinion. You like that area, Zach? Something like that, right? Now, Aussie. You like 103.15? Let me see. I mean, if you take a look, it looks like the dollar is correcting this move. So it went close to the 50%. 103.68 is very important right there. If no, I like 104.50 area, to be honest with you. You always do, my friend. Now, let's move on. Let's move on to Aussie. Remember, guys, and Ed, that was the one that answered the question. Remember, my friend, when I was saying that this was corrective. You remember that, right? And people forcing. I mean, RSI do not lie, guys. Wave do not lie. Right here. Sometimes traders get confused in the short time frame area. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 swing. It's corrective. What you got? It looks like Aussie is doing this. 7, 3, and now you need any combination of 3 or 7 or 11 to the downside. It looks like it did A, B, C. It's W technically, like this. It did 3 back, which is S, or it did, I'm sorry, it was right. I label it like an A or a W flat when you have 3, 3, and 5. That's W. Now, what you have back, 1, 2, 3, telling you that this law needs to be broken. Now, saying it's the same pattern, guys, everywhere. What else you can do? If you take a look at the dollar CAD, you should be ending A, so you should be here, B, and the C lower to the downside. If you look at the CAD, which is in some degrees the more clear structure on the whole market, together with cable. Now, levels in the Aussie, I mean, I still like 99, which is the 618 of this move. And then, look, unbelievable. Zach, look. The equal less according, this count is from Saturday. It's going to be adjusted today because this is a higher degree chart. Look, the first move that I say that there was a 7 swing together with a B equal at the 618 of the 618 of the previous move. That's a 99 is a huge level to go long Aussie, in my humble opinion. That's what I like about Aussie. So it can go straight down or can correct higher and go down. It can go both ways, Aussie. Any other question, guys? Cable. 1 second. Cable is on the same boat with everyone, guys. I see Dora's trend run through some part of this week. Look at cable. Same scenario. A, you can label it like this. A, this, and B, and then a C. When you have A, B, C, a phi, a flat B, and a C in some degrees. And then technically all that matters is that you have 3 ways, from here to here. And another matter is that you have A, B, C here. So technically speaking, cable looks to be already like this. Let me correct the count here. It did the S way. Now cable needs to do A, B, and C. And then around 157, 156 and change, cable should find support. That's what we like about cable. Any other pair, guys? And I'm sorry, guys, we're having a lot of issues with computers. Should be fine at the end of the day. Okay, guys, so there is no more questions. It's already the 2 p.m. Hope you guys enjoy the part of the seminar that was educational. And any question you can place it on the Skype, and we are willing to answer the question to you guys. Recording is going to be available after the in about 2 hours. All right, thank guys to everyone.